Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Continuing our top 15 series, we've got something special lined up for you today. I know so many of you have been asking for a customer reviews analysis for this one. Well, we're finally doing it. But before we get into that, don't forget to check this exclusive discount for it. You can find the link in both the video description and the top comment below. Now let's not waste any more time and jump right into the details.
To get things started, let's hear from our first reviewer.
This reviewer, struggling to find much information before purchasing, decided to share their own experience with this network storage unit. Upon arrival, the hardware was securely packaged, and our reviewer was immediately impressed by the build quality. The drive trays are solid metal, a notable step up from the typical plastic, and are conveniently pre-drilled for different drive sizes. The unit itself has a sleek appearance and comes with a simple utility to locate it on the network. What really stood out to this client was the user interface. Accessed through a web browser, it presents a full windowed desktop environment that is both intuitive and genuinely pleasant to use. In terms of performance, the device is an absolute powerhouse. Loaded with a large array of hard drives and a pair of SSDs for caching, it delivers incredible speed over its 10G network interface, easily outperforming the user's other external storage arrays. Functionality is comprehensive. This NAS has handled everything our reviewer has thrown at it, from various network protocols for Linux, Mac, and Windows systems to a wide selection of available apps. It also provides excellent monitoring for drive health and system temperatures. A particularly thoughtful feature is the small front panel display that shows vital info like the device's IP address. Upgrading is also straightforward, with easy access to the random access memory slots and tool-less thumb screws for installing cache drives. While the official memory is costly, standard third-party modules work perfectly. The support experience was also positive. When our reviewer contacted the company with a niche networking question, they received prompt and helpful replies. Although the firmware couldn't accommodate the specific request, the quality of the interaction was reassuring. Overall, despite a few minor limitations and a lengthy initial setup for the massive storage pool, this client couldn't be happier with this exceptionally well-engineered and flawlessly performing piece of hardware.
Excellent. Let's find out what our next reviewer has to share about their experience.
This reviewer wanted to share their experience with this network storage device, and overall, it's been a positive one. First impressions were good. The unit is well built, surprisingly compact. They even included photos to show it off on their desk, and operates quietly, a definite plus. Hardware installation was straightforward. Our reviewer paired this storage solution with an 8 TB NAS-specific hard drive, followed the included instructions, and everything configured without a hitch. The software side took a bit more effort. While it's reasonably intuitive, they had to consult a few YouTube tutorials to fully grasp what they were configuring, admitting to some ignorance on networking topics. Even though the manufacturer provides tutorials, external videos helped fill in the gaps. The primary goal for this client was to set up a private cloud where their team could access and manage files for their workflow. This is where things got a little more complex. Configuring alerts and external connections required setting up a custom SMTP server, because using Google directly resulted in errors. They had to tweak their domain settings and connect an external SMTP service to get notifications working properly and grant access to people outside their local network. Regarding speed, our reviewer acknowledges limitations due to their current home internet setup, 600 MB down/30 MB up. The device has dual 5 Gbit network ports, but their network doesn't support those speeds yet. They're planning an upgrade to symmetrical fiber in the future to unlock the device's full potential. Currently, transfer speeds are limited to around 3 MB per second, which is slow for their needs. They emphasize that understanding how the server works takes time and learning. It's not just a few clicks and done. You need to know what you're doing. They suggest improved documentation, particularly regarding security, as there are important concepts to grasp. Despite.
All right, let's find out what our next reviewer has to share.
This reviewer, an IT professional with over 2 decades of experience, is sharing their thoughts on this network-attached storage device. For the price, our reviewer thinks the specifications are excellent. One of the first things they did was upgrade the RAM to 16 GB. This wasn't overly complicated, though it did require disassembling the unit to access the motherboard. Standard DDR4 SODIMMs should work fine. A reviewer strongly suggests using a UPS with any NAS device, as these file systems are vulnerable to data corruption during sudden shutdowns. They were pleasantly surprised that the device immediately recognized the UPS when plugged in via USB, and they configured it to shut down after 5 minutes of power loss. Regarding caching, this client recommends only using a single SSD for read cache. Write cache requiring 2 SSDs is considered overkill for most users and a potential risk for file system corruption. If you opt for write cache, a UPS is absolutely essential. They've installed several applications, including the Surveillance Center, which they find effective, especially using the smartphone app for playback. To safeguard against ransomware, they keep external access disabled, avoiding the use of easy services. Instead, they plan to set up a VPN on their router for secure remote access pending a router upgrade. For data redundancy, they advise using RAID 5 or 1, cautioning against RAID 0 due to its lack of protection. They experienced a hard drive failure already, highlighting the importance of RAID, describing it as an inevitability. However, this reviewer has some critiques. First, while the manufacturer advertises 10G network support, achieving this requires replacing the SSD card with a 10G NIC, wishing for a second slot for both. They also note that the unit could benefit from improved sound insulation, as the noise level can be noticeable depending on the hard drives used. Another point is the application library is not as extensive as some see.
That's it for today's review. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this. I'd love to hear your thoughts, so drop a comment below and let's chat. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.